Chicago Sky's point guard Dana Evans and Chicago Sky's forward Isabella Harrison has accused the Chicago Sky fans for bullying them. Now, after last night's game, they went to the post-game press conference and they had a lot to say. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Well, the Chicago Sky season came to an end last night, and it was one of them seasons where I got to tip my cap to the Chicago Skies and Teresa Weatherspoon and her coaching staff for doing the job that they did with the players that they had on their roster. And like I've always said, Kennedy Carter was in and out of the lineup. Carmela Cardoso started the season off on the injured reserve list, dealing with a shoulder surgery. You know what Angel Reese brought to the table, and you know what Marina Mabrey was capable of doing. She showed glimpses and flashes of the consistency that you needed for the Chicago Sky at that particular time. Kennedy Carter was coming off the bench. Dana Evans was the starting point guard at the time. Kennedy Carter was coming off the bench. So midway through the season, Teresa Weatherspoon made an adjustment and put Kennedy Carter in the starting lineup. And when Kennedy Carter was in the starting lineup, that's when you showed the inconsistencies of Marina Mabrey. Before Kennedy Carter was inserted in the starting lineup, Marina Mabrey was the Chicago Sky's best three-point shooter. She was leading the team in scoring. And then Kennedy Carter was inserted in the starting lineup. And when she was inserted in the starting lineup, Kennedy Carter started balling with the likes of her and Angel Reese feeding off of each other. The Sky kind of, turned that little season around, and they picked up some wins, and they positioned themselves in the playoff race. And then what happens? The Olympic break comes, and start of the Olympic break, teams was out resting, getting their legs underneath of them. And what happened? They come back from the Olympic break, and the team had just started falling apart. Kennedy Carter, in and out of the lineup. She was in a health and safety protocol. Carmela Cardoso still hampering from the shoulder injury and the shoulder surgery. And then what happens? Dana Evans, gets forced to the bench, and she takes a rapid response to it on Twitter. She goes on a Twitter rant, and her agent goes on a rant as well. So that's one thing. Then, Angel Reese starting in the lineup, when she came into the WNBA, she was already starter ready. And what happened? Everybody, had high hopes for Isabella Harrison, that Isabella Harrison was going to be that forward. But what happened was Elizabeth Williams went down, and that forced, Angel Reese to play the center position, the forward position, until Carmela Cardoso got back. So what happened when Carmela Cardoso got back? That forced Isabella Harrison to the bench. And Dana Evans and Elizabeth Harrison are used to starting. So what happened? Angel Reese goes down with the season-ending injury to her wrist, and Isabella Harrison steps back in the lineup, and she gives some good production. When Kennedy Carter went down, with the foot injury late, the last, 2 games before the end of the season, Dana Evans was put back in the starting lineup, gave us some good production. So what happened? After last night's loss to the Connecticut Sun, the season was over. They didn't make the playoffs. And Isabel Harrison and Dana Evans took to the post-game press conference. they said some interesting things. They accused the Chicago Sky fans for turning on them and really bullying them. So I want you guys to take a listen to what Dana Evans and Isabella Harrison said. And when we finish listening to it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to let you know what I think. So let's pay close attention to what they had to say. Let's take a listen.
With all the new attention, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but
no, I get it.
How did you guys experience that? What was the sort of content of it? Like, what was the feeling like? What were you reading, seeing, hearing, experiencing?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it was tough. I mean, Izzy, I know you can attest to that too. It was really tough. I mean, we're professionals. We know that we can play this game. I mean, but when you got people that's steady bashing you, that's supposed to be our supporters, I feel like that was a little slap in the face, and that was hard to kind of deal with. But it was really disgusting. But I always say God does not make mistakes, and I feel like this season really challenged my mental to another level, and I feel like I'm going to be so much better next season, just mentally prepared for everything. And I know Izzy, you kind of feel that way too.
I've never experienced this amount of hate and harassment this entire season. I get emotional about it because I know Dana went through the same, but it's hard because it should have never been like that. And to go and just want to play basketball every day, and you have people constantly, and if it's online, but like you now get tagged in it, and I'm constantly having to block people and just people making narratives up about you. It's hurtful.
It is.
And it's hard to just focus on basketball. And I appreciate the new eyes, but if it comes with hate and bigotry and racism and even people that look like me bashing you can keep it offline because it's so hurtful. You don't know how it affects people. So I think that's just something that a lot of new fans need to be mindful of, and we don't want that to carry into the locker room. And
exactly. And to piggyback on that is, I would say, especially for the people that support the Sky, if you're going to support the Sky, support the Sky. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was a big issue, and it messes with your mental. I don't care how good you are or what's going on. You're going to see stuff. You're going to read stuff, but it made you a lot better, Izzy. It made us a lot stronger up here, and we'll be better next year.
You learn from it, you grow from it, you just stay away from it, because it's like, I'm not going to attach that to my name. But there was just so many times that was just a factor, and it shouldn't have been. And it's just disappointing that was the case.
What do you put that down to? Where is it coming from? Where is it originating, and why?
The internet is
the internet, and honestly, like she was saying, a lot of our fans were doing that, and it's hard because you just try to stay away from it. It's boom and test.
Wow, it was kind of powerful, but this is my take. I got to keep it a buck here. I think there's some jealousy floating around. If you notice how Dana Evans started off her post-game press conference saying, "We know we can play the game." That's one thing I took out of it. We know we can play the game. So basically what she's saying is, we know we can play the game, but what happened? T. Weatherspoon put Dana Evans on the bench. Isabel Harrison was forced out of the lineup because of the play of Angel Reese, because they both play the 4 position. And Carmela Cardoso was inserted into the starting lineup when she came back from the shoulder surgery. So I feel there's some jealousy floating around in that locker room. And we all know, it's well documented, with Dana Evans and her agent had the Twitter rant. It's well documented, right? So then another thing I get out of it, where are y'all hearing all this from? The internet, the narratives that are going around. What have I told you guys? These YouTube content creators that create these false narratives and these fake narratives to try to put players against each other. That's where it all stems from. And see, these women, don't get it twisted. They watch these YouTube videos. They might not comment, but they see these YouTube videos that these content creators are making with these narratives, and they pushing these narratives, putting people against each other. And I think this is where Dana Evans and Isabel Harrison are getting this from because of the way they spoke in the post-game press conference. Because Isabel Harrison went on to say she's never experienced this. See, the WNBA wasn't ready for all this attention that they was going to get because of the rookie class that came in that featured Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Cameron Brink and Rakia Jackson and Alyssa Edwards, you know, and Carmela Cardoso. And that's the problem. The WNBA was not ready for all this attention. And Dana Evans said it played on her mental. And she said she knows she can play this game. So what it is these internet YouTube content creators spearing these narratives around about the Chicago Skies and things that they do. You know, we seen people talk about they're a better team without Angel Reese. And then when Isabel Harrison and Dana Evans get back in the starting lineup, they don't produce wins. And now you got other narratives out there. Oh, this team is garbage. This team is trash. So I think that Isabel Harrison and Dana Evans are feeling the effects from the internet. And like Isabel Harrison said, she sees it. Her name is being tagged to it. But, you know, she has blocked people. So that goes to show that they watch these YouTube videos. And when their name gets attached to these videos where people are creating these narratives, you know, it's taking an impact on them. It's taking a toll on them. And it's trying to divide the locker room because it's all based around the rookie Angel Reese. And I feel that Isabel Harrison and Dana Evans might be a little bit jealous of Angel Reese. I'm just keeping it a buck because of the way they spoke in their post-game press conference, if you really listen to it. I just think there's some kind of jealousy, something's floating in that locker room because all the attention has been put on Angel Reese. Now Angel Reese comes in as a rookie doing what she was doing before she went down, was in the starting lineup. Now Elizabeth Williams, you know, she was supposed to be the starting center. You see what I'm saying? And then Angel Reese, the 4, but she came in and took Isabel Harrison's position, forced her to the bench to come off the bench. But Dana Evans put it out there. We know we can play the game. So when they was forced to the bench, you know, that caused some, you know, controversy. That caused Dana Evans to go on her Twitter rant. That caused Isabel Harrison to say what she had to say. But, you know, that's what the coach thought was going on. And she forced you to the bench. As far as, you know, the Chicago Sky fans that she said, if you're going to be supportive of the team. So basically she's saying that the Chicago Sky fans are just supporting one player, and that's Angel Reese. So I just feel, you know, that's just my take. I mean, I think there's some jealousy there. And that's my personal opinion because I'm listening to the post-game press conference and I'm hearing everything that Dana Evans pointed out and how Isabel Harrison, you know, the way she broke down and was saying the threats and things like that. It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder what's going on in that locker room. Makes you wonder what's going on in that locker room, man. So you guys let me know what y'all think about today's podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And do me a favor, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Post your comments. Turn your post notifications on. So, you know, every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. And guess what? We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.